Dennis Sperling.
In the city where the lights don't sleep, Uncle D got the vibe so deep. Representing men strong and free. Dennis Sperling is the king of the spree. In the streets where the rhythm flows, black men rising, that's how it goes. Uncle D got the truth to show. In his heart, that's where the fire glows.
And I try to
stream, Dennis Sperling, wisdom gleam, voices whisper truth and insight in his podcast. Feel light, harmony in every word, truth and laughter you've heard. Oh, that's all right. Wave after wave of smooth delight, Dennis brings the dark to light.
It's a process, man.
Share the tales unfold, stories born like morning gold. Feeling the wisdom inside me, subscribing like time after time.
Black men, I want to salute you. Your incarceration rate is down, the education rate is up. We went from, we are doing great for ourselves. So you should salute yourself. Shout out to all the brothers out there, whether you're a truck driver or an engineer, whether you're an electrician or garbage man, a doctor, a lawyer. If you're a hard-working brother, if you fresh out the penitentiary, but you on your grind and you doing it legal and you trying to make amends for yourself, man, I salute you too, brothers. God bless you. This is Uncle D, and you know, I'm out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the broadcast. Shout out to all my guys in the chat room. It's been a minute since we've been here. I'd like to welcome TIQS, Boris Barracuda. Big shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. Y'all make sure you check in. Let me know where you are viewing this broadcast from as you check in. Shout out to all my people in the States. Shout out to everybody overseas. Shout out to all my guys in the various cities and all the ladies here who are watching, man. Big up to everybody. I know it's been a minute. Uncle D been on vacation. Y'all hit the #1 button to let me know that you are in here like swimwear. I am Dennis Sperling, also known as the Blizzard King, also known as Uncle D. And, you know, I've been here for a while doing what I do. I'm going on 5 years, and you know, I'm enjoying what I do here, man. I big shout out. You guys keep me motivated. As you guys know, it's been a few months since I really been on it because, well, hell, everybody needs a vacation. You know what I'm talking about? So, Uncle D, shout out to Uncle D for taking a vacation, taking a little me time, man. But so here's the thing. We are a few days away, a couple days, actually 2 days away from the official inauguration of Donald J. Trump, who was set to be the 47th president of these United States. And he won the election fair and square. For the most part, he kicked butt. You know, nobody thought this man was going to be able to come back from his loss to Joe Biden. And man, you know, now here he is. You know, he is here. And folks are shocked. They are literally shocked and awed. They're upset. And the people who love him, support him, they are happy, they're elated, they are overjoyed. You know what I mean? Now, for the most part, I tell you guys to vote your interest. Somebody type vote your interest in the chat room. Somebody type vote your interest in the chat room, just in case anybody is confused. I am technically a registered Democrat. I voted for Democrat pretty much my whole life. These last two elections, I decided to vote for Donald Trump because it's in my best interest. Somebody type vote your interest in the chat room. Somebody type vote your interest in the chat room, because we need to remind them that this is where I'm coming from. I'm an advocate for black men. I'm an advocate for black men. I'm not a MAGA supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Republican. I am simply an advocate for black men, which means if it's in the interest of black men, well, hell, I'm for it. Because number one, I'm a black man. Number two, I have black sons. So it behooves me. It's in my best interest to be in the interest, what's in the interest of black men. Y'all can dig it. Shout out to my man 43TX. So that's where I'm at. I don't have any particular political allegiance to any one of the major American parties. I'm in it for black men. I'm in it for your political, your financial interests. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the things that I advocate exclusively benefit black men. That's not what that means. Some things are not. I mean, most things that are good for humans are good for all humans. Most things that are good for black men are good for all men. But when it comes down to it, I'm an advocate for black men. That's where I'm at. And I think you guys know that, right? Y'all know that, right? I've been saying that. I've been saying that same thing for years. Nevertheless, as it is right now, it would appear to me that what is in the interest of black men was having Donald Trump become the 47th president. And the reason I say that, because things were not really looking that good for us. And so a lot of brothers decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and vote Republican. We didn't like the way the country was going with the zealous gender identity influence. We didn't like the way the economy was going. We didn't like the overspending on overseas wars that were not ours. We didn't like the immigration problem that we had at the southern border. Black men saw that and voted their interest. Somebody type vote your interest. Okay, somebody type vote your interest. Here's another thing that you also have to understand. Black men and black women used to vote right along the same party lines because our interests were tied. But as secondary to this gender war, you have black men saying, well, hell, I'm gonna vote my interest. Okay? Now, the black man's interest is not necessarily always tied to that of black women, largely because black men don't really receive anything from either one of the parties particularly, but specifically the Democrat Party. We don't get anything from them. We just voted Democrat because we voted that way because that's the way the sisters voted. But as we have now had something of a break in the allegiance or the alliance that typically exists between black folks, brothers are like, well, hell, let me just go all the way and vote my interest. So that's what you see happening. Now, Donald Trump won. The Republican Party won. MAGA won. Somebody type MAGA in the chat room. Somebody type MAGA in the chat room. MAGA won. And that being the case, they get to call the tune. I see a lot of liberals very angry right now. I see a lot of black people who voted Democrat who are very angry right now. Not only are they angry that Donald Trump won, but they're also angry that you have artists like Nelly, Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, who are performing at Trump's inauguration. Okay. Now I have a little video footage and I've just been scouring the internet. So I'm going to share this stuff with you guys. This is a brother from the internet and he voices the opinion of a lot of folks. So y'all kick back and listen to this and we're going to analyze this. Somebody type mad again in the chat room. Somebody type mad again. Listen.
Don't be surprised that Snoop is performing at the inauguration. Don't do that. Why? Don't be surprised that Nelly is performing. First of all, I ain't never liked Nelly, so I ain't gonna waste no time talking about that dude. Ain't no law.
Man, so you never went, I'm going down, down, baby. Yo, you never, come on, brother. Don't. You what you talking about? You mean you never like that? You ain't never going down, down, baby. Yo, street in the rain. You ain't got to make up stuff, brother. You know what I'm saying? Anyways.
But when it comes to Snoop, why are y'all surprised? This ain't the old Snoop. This ain't the Snoop that needed black people to help create his wealth and build his wealth from the Doggy style days. No, this ain't him. This ain't the Snoop that needed black people to support him when he was on trial for unaliving somebody. It ain't that Snoop. It ain't the Snoop that needed black people to help him rebuild his wealth when he was broke after he had to leave Death Row Records and go to No Limit Records. It ain't that Snoop. This is the Snoop that...
All right, so let's first analyze that. The brother is saying that Snoop Dogg is somehow not the Snoop Dogg that needed black people. In other words, he's inferring that now that Snoop Dogg doesn't need black people anymore, that he's somehow sold out. Now, look, Snoop is from the era of gangster rappers. I personally have expressed my opinions about gangster rap. But the first thing, brother, the first thing you folk have to understand is that, shoot, man, these rappers were never supported by black people in the first place. White people supported that kind of black music. White people still are the major consumers of that music. So you never really were in the running to support them in the first place. Now, why would Snoop Dogg need our support when he has all that money? And then at the time, Johnny Cochran representing him, paying Johnny, because Johnny wasn't free, okay? I met Johnny Cochran at the Southern University Law Center some years back before he passed away. And Johnny was not free. He needed his money, and Snoop Dogg was able to pay him with that good white money that he earned on that gangster rap concert. So I'm just saying, nevertheless, yeah, you know, that I hear what you're saying. You're trying to imply that now that he's come up, he's left the black community. This is a black man who's married to a black woman, has black children. So I just want you to think about how quickly we turn on each other and how we always racialize things and make it up as us against them. They sold out. And by the time we finish with this conversation, I'm going to have you all questioning who the real sellouts are. But let's continue listening to the brother.
That is now getting millions of dollars from people who don't look like us. This is why
Snoop Dogg has been getting millions of dollars from people who don't look like us. Go to a Snoop Dogg concert, and it is waves and waves of white people, waves and waves of alabaster young people screaming all the lyrics, even saying all the profane language. We have never done that, okay? I'm just keeping it all the way a buck with you. Let's keep listening.
this Snoop could care less about people who look like us. This is why he's performing at the inauguration of a dude who wants to bring back stop and frisk, which affects...
He's going to bring back stop and frisk. Now, for you all who don't know, stop and frisk was a policy that was put in place in New York when New York was at an extremely high crime rate, okay? And I believe it was under Mayor Rudy Giuliani. What the police would do is if you look like a suspect, then they would treat you like a suspect. They would pull you over, perform a cursory search on you, make sure you did not have any weapons on you, and let you know that you do not run these streets. We are the biggest gang, i.e. the NYPD. We run these streets. Now, miraculously, Times Square, before that, before Giuliani put that in, New York was the crap hole that it is right now. I'm just going to put it out there for you just like that. It was a dangerous place to be. You were not going to be. They had the peep shows in Times Square. Prostitution was rampant. Drugs were rampant. Gangs were rampant. And then the NYPD, under Rudy Giuliani and the chief of police, installed stop and frisk, shut all that down. Okay. Now, with the influx of all these migrants and all this crazy crime that's going on right now, I think it's some brothers right now, especially since brothers are the number one victims of crime against perpetuated black men, I think a little stop and frisk would be helpful right about now. I mean, I know it's unconstitutional, 4th and 14th Amendment. I get that. I get what you're saying, and maybe they can reinstitute it in another way. And I'm sorry there were young people who got hemmed up by the police that otherwise were innocent. But for the most part, it stopped a lot of crime. We don't like to hear this. This is tough. But let me also remind you that the United States is probably the only place in the world where you can be looking like you committing a crime, possibly have a gun, possibly have a weapon on you, and the police can't do anything about it until they actually see you commit a crime. In other countries, they will hem you up, put you on the ground, hit you in the back of the head with the butts of their rifles. You understand what I'm saying? So be happy that you have these privileges that you have in the United States, but in other places it's not real. But let's continue listening to the brother. I just want to put it in context. Somebody type context in the chat room. Somebody type context in the chat room.
People like us, he wants to give cops full immunity, which affects people.
Cops already have full immunity, brother. They already have immunity. Okay, it's not something he's giving them. That's part of case law that goes back decades. Okay, they already have immunity. It's called qualified immunity. Let's not put something on him that he didn't do. Keep it going.
Like us, and he is supported by every single hate group in the country.
He is supported by every brother. At some point, we just got to realize that we just putting extras on it. You ever been hanging out with somebody and they telling a story, and then it's like, look, you had me for a minute, but now you kind of, come on, man, really? You smashed the mom and the daughter and the grandma? Come on, man, I don't believe. You putting extras on it. Every hate group. How many hate groups do we have in the United States? Each and every one of them, have they all submitted a letter of support to Donald Trump and his re-election? Is that what you tell them? This is a little extra, brother. I'm just pointing it out there. Let's keep going. Praise God.
Again, affects people like us.
People
Snoop
like
don't
us.
live in it.
People like us. Okay, I thought it was going to affect those Venezuelan migrants. Is that who you talking to? Because those are the people that are really afraid. We've been through 4 years of Donald Trump. I mean, y'all act like the man wasn't the president the time before. This one that we have now is the president. We did pretty good other than the COVID-19 situation. Did y'all know that we remember that presidency from around 2016 to 20? We were right there. We saw it. I'm just saying, brother. I mean, let's just think about it. You putting extras on. Let's keep listening.
The neighborhoods where cops will stop and frisk you. He don't live in those neighborhoods no more. This is why he could care less.
Snoop doesn't care about what happened to black folk because he don't live in the neighborhoods anymore. I understand what I'm saying. Let's keep listening.
About the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
You caught on yet?
Us now. Snoop is no longer like us. That's basically what you're saying. Okay. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm trying to do a broadcast here, and it's at this time. Everybody wants to give me a call. Everybody wants to talk to me. I am doing the best I can. Hold on 1 minute. Let me see something here. Yeah. Yeah, man. Welcome back. Anyway, so let's finish listening to the brother.
Black folks? Or are you going to let him just make another record and you be like, oh, Snoop is cool now? Speaking of records, how surprised that Nelly is performing? First of all,
hold on, let's go back there. Now you talk
you
about
go from FDT to now you perform.
All right, so he's now saying, well, you're a hypocrite.
Let him just make another record and you be like, oh, Snoop is cool now. Speaking of records, how'd you go from FDT to now you performing at the inauguration for DT?
So here's the thing, family. Before Donald Trump, and again, I'm telling you brothers to vote your interest, okay? I'm telling you brothers to vote your interest. But I do recall a time that before Donald Trump was running for the Republican nominee for presidency of the United States, all the black rappers would talk about him and how they was trumped up this and wanted to have money like Trump. So they were 100% with him at that point. And then when he began to run for president, then they were like, you are all these horrible names. And now they back to, well, he's okay again. And that has a lot to do with the fact that the country has shifted. The country has moved on from some of those notions that they had before. I think the identity politics game is pretty much over, fellas. I don't think we care as black people if you're black or white, as long as you do what you do for us, because we went through the Obama years, and that gentleman went about, 8 years without doing anything for black folk. And then when we refused to vote for Kamala Harris, somebody type loser in the chat room, when we refused to vote for Kamala Harris, he told us basically we were idiots and sexist. And so we really don't like Barack Obama now. So, I mean, brother, I think we're past that. But let's keep listening.
Make it make sense.
Make it make
but
sense.
I get it. When you don't need the people anymore, you could care less about the people.
I don't think Snoop has needed us for several decades now, brother. I think the white folks have been paying him well to put his little rap songs out. I don't think he needs us anymore, okay? I think he's doing this because it's the president of the United States, and those actors and entertainers recognize, just like we do, that the tone and tenor of the country has changed. I think your identity politics game is over.
And that's on his end. What are we going to do? Still going to buy the records? Still going to watch the TV shows?
Who's buying Snoop Dogg's record? When was the last time Snoop made a record that anybody wanted to listen to? I'm just saying. When was the last time Snoop Dogg made a record that any Nelly, Rick Ross, or Soulja Boy? I don't think we've listened to a Snoop Dogg record worth listening to in 15 years. I don't think that's what it's about. I think for the most part, Snoop, like the other men who are financially astute and have people around them who are financially astute, probably have invested their money in real estate and stock, and they're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, Snoop also has these organizations that help support young black men, like his football team and all those other things. So we just gonna throw him out because he's performing at Donald Trump's inauguration because you say so? Because you say so, brother. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing it out. Let's keep listening.
Still gonna watch movies?
Yeah, probably so.
It's one thing for that person to show you who they are. It's another thing for you to allow it to be the thing, and also to not make changes based off of how they show you and who they show you they are. At this point, it's on us.
So Snoop Dogg is a weed smoking gangster from Long Beach, California. I think we all knew that. But anyway, so we can spread this around, and we want to make sure everybody gets their day in the sun here on the Sperling broadcast. Let's check this lovely lady out. She has some choice words for Snoop Dogg and those folks. Let's
Mr. Country Grammar himself.
Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear? Let me know if you can hear the volume. I want to make sure you can hear the volume. Go ahead. Let's listen. Oh, Lord. Let me see.
Country Grammar himself.
Mr. Country Grammar himself.
Yeah, that's right. Nelly is performing at the inauguration. In particular,
yes, he is performing at the inauguration. And what do you have to say about that?
The inaugural ball.
Rapper Nelly to perform. Rapper Nelly.
I'm not surprised.
Why are you not surprised? You sure? It seems like you are surprised, considering the fact that you're making a TikTok video or whatever. TikTok is gone. Somebody type RIP TikTok. Since you're making a video about it, let's keep listening.
But in the long haul, it's going to affect him because he sold his soul and his values to a modern day Lucifer.
You're telling me that because this young man, Nelly, from the Lou, is performing at Trump's inauguration, he has sold his soul to the modern day devil. I find that ironic, considering that the outgoing president that we have, Joe Biden, is a known segregationist whose mentor was a member of the KKK, right? This is, mind you, this is the one that referred to Barack Obama as one of the clean ones. in reference to his color. And you're telling me that I guess Donald Trump is more prejudiced than Joe Biden? I think you would have to look at the 1990 crime bill and how Biden's bill has affected the black community to see who has done worse to the black community. Anyway, let's continue listening to this lady since we talking about voting for modern day devils. Let's keep listening.
So Nelly, I hope you get all your money. I hope you get the crowd going because
I hope. Here's the threat.
Your reemergence to the music scene after this is not going to have a positive outlook or a positive response.
Okay, here's the problem. You don't support Nelly. Have you ever been to a Nelly concert? If you go, as I said before, there's a sea of white ivory there supporting him, okay? They know all the lyrics. Shout out to my man, Urban Eagle. Thank you for being the first person to contribute to the Super Chat. Good looking out, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But nevertheless, ma'am, you don't even look like you go to a Nelly concert. You not buying Nelly albums. You should be somewhere listening to jazz music at this point, baby girl. What are you talking about? Cut it out. Nobody's threatened by you. The man is a multimillionaire. Him and Ashanti is having some kind of baby or something like that. Get on up out of here. Stop trying to threaten people. Keep listening.
So drop down and get your eagle on.
Look, you need to drop
at the inauguration.
That's what he's gonna do. That's what he's gonna get. He probably gonna come out with a country album and get a whole new set of people supporting him. I'm just pointing that out to you. Now, as you can imagine, praise God, Nelly and a lot of these folks have had a response to people. Now, shout out to my man Laverne Gibbs. And again, vote your interest. This is what I'm telling y'all. Vote your interest, brothers. I don't care if you vote Republican. I don't care if you vote Democrat. I don't care if you sit at home on the couch. I don't care if you vote independent party. I'm just telling black men specifically and black people in general, vote your interest. Do what's in your own, whatever you find to be in your interest. That's what I want you to do. It just so happened that my interest aligned with voting for the Republican Party this time because I did not like the direction that the country was going, like many of you. And so that's where I'm at. Shout out to my man Laverne Gibbs. Thank you for being the second person to contribute to the Super Chat. Now, my man Nelly appeared on Willie D's broadcast recently to discuss this. And he had some things to say in response. Now I want y'all to listen carefully to what the brother's saying. Shout out to my man TIQS. Thank you for the $10 Super Chat. And again, independent brothers thinking and doing what's in their best interest. Why would anybody be mad at that? But nevertheless, let's listen. Let's listen to this.
I did not know you was riding with me because you thought I would ride for who you voted for. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I apologize. I apologize. I didn't know that I had to agree with your political choices. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was the things that you.
Mm-hmm. I thought you liked his music. I didn't know you knew that you cared what his political choices were. Shout out to him for getting that out. Shout out to my man, Mr. Tyson. Gifted 5 Dennis Sperling podcast memberships. Yes, sir, you are the real MVP. Listen to the brother.
Do not the things that you say should be done. If you follow what I do, this shouldn't even be an argument. He's the president.
Right.
He won.
You hear what the man said? He won. All you losers are. Somebody type black liberals mad again. You lost. You lost. You lost. If Kamala Harris had won the presidency, and look, nobody would be complaining if some white artist or entertainer from the country music realm got up there and performed at her inauguration. Look, I want you black folks to understand something. I love you. You know I love you. I want you to hear me out. You lost. The Democratic Party is in shambles. Your little shaming techniques trying to tell folk what they should do and what they shouldn't do. They see the direction that the country is going. Okay? These artists and entertainers realize that they carry little to no weight. Whoever they don't care how. Look, they have realized that no matter how many times you wave your hands back and forth at the concert and shake your booty to their music. They don't carry the weight that they used to carry. They're trying to fall in. The country is headed in a different direction. Nobody cares what you think anymore. Brothers and sisters, you better fall in line. That's what I'm trying. You trying to threaten these multi-millionaire folk that don't need you. I know you think they need you. They don't need your dollars. You never paid them in the first place. Most things, black folks, all you did was bootleg their music, sell it on the side of the street with a t-shirt. Most of y'all don't even have can never recall ever buying an album or record. You just bootlegged it. Even now, you listen to it on the internet. You don't support these people. We don't support our artists. So how can you rein them in when they do something you don't appreciate? I'm just talking to you. You know I'm telling the truth. Let's keep
this isn't a campaign. This isn't the RNC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out on the political campaign. I didn't get none of that 1.5.
No.
You see what I'm saying? Like to try to help somebody get voted.
Kamala didn't invite you to
No.
You mean Kamala Harris didn't give you any money, Nelly? Did she? So you have no loyalty to her. I understand, certainly. Let's keep listening.
No, she didn't invite me.
She didn't invite me either, man. I was going to do all at home.
Like, so, but I don't knock the one. I thought you was riding with me because I put on for that did. I don't knock the brothers and sisters that benefited from it. Mm-hmm. I don't knock the correspondents that may have gotten money to do that.
Yeah, and it's not like Roland Martin or Ricky Smiley are going to perform at the concert. It's not like these two. They were all the way in with Kamala. That'll be something to see. That 180-degree turn to be something to see. But this ain't it. These are black men who see a business opportunity to go perform at the White House for the president of the United States. It's historical. And you got black folks out here trying to shame them into not doing it. It's not going to work. You don't carry that type of weight anymore. You couldn't carry the Democrat Party over the threshold. So black folks it's just a wake-up call. You got to realize you do not carry the political weight that you once did. That's the first thing you need to recognize. It's a lot of other people to do, but we don't carry that weight. Number one, we're not unified. We don't carry the weight. I'm just saying, it is what it is. You better figure something else out. And these artists and entertainers have figured out which side of the butter, which side of the bread that butter is on, and they're running with it. Let's keep listening.
I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's an honor. I respect the office. It don't matter who is in office. The same way that our men and women, our brothers and sisters who protect this country have to go to war and have to put their life on the line for whoever in office. So if they can put their...
Now, what I want you to understand also is that Nelly is a middle-aged man with responsibilities and people who are people who he's responsible for and salaries that need to be paid. We're not talking about some teenage 20-year-old, okay? You can't live in the United States and become successful and then travel around the world and see how other people are living and then come back to the United States and not be appreciative of what we have and what we see. Because no other place on this planet that I know of can somebody who is from the lowest of social rungs, who comes from poverty, end up being one of the richest people in the United States. In a society where you have a racial caste system, even though it's been neutered, you don't have that everywhere, family. It's just not prevalent. So you come back to the United States and say, man, we need to keep this thing going. That's why I say I support the troops. These young men and women who put themselves on the line to make sure that I can stay over here and my family can be safe and I can keep doing what I do in my profession. Hell yeah, I support the United States. And if the president calls me, I'm going in, especially considering the climate that we're living in now. Most Americans like Donald Trump. And I know that's difficult for a lot of you black liberals to realize. Most white folks support Donald Trump. A large percentage of white liberals are looking forward to benefiting from Donald Trump's policies, even though they're telling you one thing, and they know you're quick to just roll with it, family. because they know you're gullible and you've been gullible for a long time. You carry the torch further and with more veracity than the white folk do. And so they just got you in uproar. They're fool again, falling out with your own people, talking bad about your own artists. Just because you think that's the direction that white liberals want you to go. I'm just pointing it out to you. There's a reason why Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Thurgood Marshall, Frederick Douglass, they all had the same thing to say about these white liberals. And these men had diverse, diverging political views, philosophies, and they all came to the same consideration or the same conclusion that white liberals have duped black people for centuries. And some of you all still believe it. Somebody vote your interest. Somebody type vote your interest in the chat room. Start thinking for yourself. Let's keep listening. Praise God.
Life on the line for whoever in office. I can damn sure perform for whoever.
What do you say to the people that say we're not giving you this backlash because of your political affiliation or your political choice or whatever? We're giving you this backlash because you are propping up a white supremacist.
All right.
I would ask them to show me what that did. I don't knock.
Now that's what now look, let me tell you something, man. I've learned some things in my years on this planet. And the one thing that I've learned that seems consistent, especially amongst black folks, when all else fails, fall back on the racism. Just accuse the black person that you want to do whatever it is you want to do of being a house N-word or a racist, a supporter of racist or something like that. And then, and you put them on the defense. You see what I mean? So let's just go ahead and accuse anybody who supports Donald Trump of being a house N-word or supporting a racist, and they just gonna fall in line. That because they have to, all right? But let me explain something to you. It'd be different if, the person that we voted against, i.e. Joe Biden, was not the most racist, bigoted president that I've ever seen in modern time, and that includes Ronald Reagan, okay? I've never seen, just judging by his actions alone and some of the things he said, I've never, ever experienced or witnessed another president who is as racist as this man. And so you're trying to compare Donald Trump to Joe Biden? You that's what we're trying to do? No, that's not gonna work. If anything, they wasn't best case scenario, they're even. Worst case scenario, and truth is, Joe Biden is probably worse. I mean, the man was mentored by a former wizard, grand wizard of the KKK, who was in the office. Was it Bird? Was his name Bird? And then he tried to make excuses for him. So that argument is going to fall on deaf ears. And I think we all understand why. That's not gonna work, especially in this day and age. I mean, the truth is, family, racism is not going anywhere. It's part and parcel of the United States. It's part of our lore, part of our culture. The Native Americans experienced it. Black Americans experienced it. Irish and Italians who are now white experienced it. Asians experienced it. Everybody still experiences it right now. It's not going anywhere. We can deal with that. But what we can't deal with is a bunch of transgender gender bending going on. What we can't deal with is 14 million more immigrants flooding the southern border. What we can't deal with is rampant crime. What we can't deal with is being taxed to death so we can pay for luxury yachts and boats and planes for the Ukrainian president. What we can't deal with, family, is these cities that we have that are falling apart. California is burning down. New York is run amok. Chicago is, you get shot as soon as you get off the plane. That's what we can't deal with. Racism is lightweight compared to that. We can deal with that. We got to work around that. We worked the past 500 years to work around that. Okay? So that excuse is not going to work. Let's keep listening.
He's a white supremacist. And here's the thing.
As if Joe Biden ain't one.
Okay, I get it. He did say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black, right? Oh no, that wasn't him. That wasn't him. Hold on. I'm trying to think. Hold on. He did create
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
He did create the crime bill in the 90s, which said that if you get caught with 5 grams of crack, you do a mandatory 5 years. That had mass incarceration. I think even the Vice President Kamala spoke on that part, that said that the crime bill played a huge part. No, he didn't do that. Let me see. What did he do? I'm trying to think. The white supremacist. Hold on. I'm gonna get to it. Now
this is shocking to a lot of people, because you would expect, this is a rapper, he's an uneducated entertainer. Well, the thing is, you don't get to be that successful for that long without having a high degree of intelligence. And as a middle-aged man being in the United States, you're going to have conversations, you're going to have discussions with people. And now that we have YouTube, we have what's called the manosphere, you have all these people with diverging points of views and political ideology, you pretty much get to hear everything. And so for Nelly to snap back like that, somebody type snap back, clap back, I should say, it's surprising to people. Like, we know all this work about Joe Biden. You calling Donald Trump a racist, but look at the racist stuff that Joe Biden did. That's not going to work, family. I'm just saying, all the shaming is not going to work. It's like 2 black people on a plantation arguing about which one of their masters is less racist. It's not going to work. It's just going to fail. Again, vote your interest. Keep listening.
He did not rent to black people. What was it, in the 70s or the 80s? Mm-hmm. Is that what they said? And like, okay, is he renting to him now? He's a white supremacist, and if nobody's allowed to change, right? See, here's the thing. So we can talk about past, but we never want to talk about our past. If we bring up, if our past get brought up in our community for a lot of what our men did, we always call it rehabilitation. Yo, these young brothers, we've been through a lot. I know I've been through a lot. If my past was what was going to prevent me from winning today, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that he ain't got some fucked up ways. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's why I'm not telling you who to vote for. But what I'm saying is that he's the president of the United States. He's not the candidate for the United States. He's the president.
In other words, y'all lost. That's what he's saying. Kamala lost. It's over. Time to move on. It's not candidate Trump who called me. The president of the United States, Donald Trump, called me to perform at the inauguration. I'm going. That's what he basically just said. It's over. Take your L. See you in 4 years. That's what the brother is saying. Okay? And that's all I got to say about that. Okay? Let's keep listening to the rest of this where he letting them have it.
He won.
Fair use.
Nobody's allowed to change, right? Mm-hmm. See this.
So anyway, that was a more level-headed response from Nelly. But again, like I said, it's been several. Snoop Dogg, I hadn't heard a response from him, but you had Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, and Nelly, who all performed. That would be a hell of a concert if this was 15 years ago. I don't know if I'd go out there and weather the cold weather for that right now. I don't want to see these old middle-aged men sing rap songs and bounce up and down. I'm down. I don't want to hear all that. But I prefer jazz in my older years. But the bottom line is, they're gonna go do it. Now, again, that was a very level-headed and thoughtful response. But if you really want to get down to it, I think Soulja Boy, who we all know, right? I think he had a more realistic response. Y'all check out what Soulja Boy had to say in response to all this criticism. He speaks a language.
Obama ain't never put no money in my fucking pockets, nigga.
A bag.
Kamala ain't never put no money in my pockets, nigga. Trump put money in my pockets, nigga.
Trump gave
Motherfuckers are trying to say something about me performing at the crypto ball party. Did Kamala call my fucking phone?
Nope.
Did Obama call my motherfucking phone?
They thought they was too good for you. They ain't
Did
call.
any of you call my motherfucking phone?
They ain't gonna give you nothing.
Fuck you, man. I do what the fuck I want. Trump call my phone. It wasn't even a Trump event. Trump wasn't even there.
I find it ironic. Black folks are complaining about this young black man getting paid, going to do his song or songs at Trump's inauguration. But these are the same black people who don't have a problem or look the other way when black men are selling drugs in the community. These are the same black folks who don't have a problem when black men and black women are running up in these stores, shoplifting and stealing. You looking to buy something. So you don't mind them taking graveyard chances and destroying the community. But the fact that this same young man who'd probably be out robbing and stealing and killing if he didn't have something above board and positive to do, you have a problem with him singing his songs at Donald Trump's inauguration. I find that highly hypocritical. I find that disturbing, black people. I find it extremely disturbing. The fact that we support the crooks and criminals in our community, we hide them, we pray for them, we put money on their books. Our women have children by them. We got a whole bunch of little pookies and keishas running around here. Because y'all love the thugs. We even got a song, Gotta Get a Roughneck. Remember that one from back in the day? You love thugs. Except when they singing at inaugurations for a president you don't like. I find that highly convenient. I find it highly convenient. I'm just saying, seems a bit hypocritical to me, but he telling you what you think about you. Y'all was cool with me selling dope. You was cool with me fighting and shooting and killing, but I'm doing, I'm getting the bag. And now that I'm out here singing songs for Donald Trump, now you got a problem with it. I sing for white folk every day. Y'all don't come to my concerts like that. You didn't help me get the bag. That's what he's saying to you. Anyway,
y'all so worried about he performed, him, Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross. Kamala, you ain't even win.
You lost.
Obama, you ain't called my fucking phone. I'll suck my dick, nigga.
Oh,
y'all want me to not answer the phone of the fucking president? Get a president of the mother United States. Trump wasn't even there.
He ain't wrong.
It wasn't even a Trumpy. It was the crypto ball for crypto.
Yeah.
Y'all can suck my dick, cancel me all day. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the response you pretty much get from most black men when you start telling them who they should vote for and how they sold out and all that, because that's kind of where we are right now. That's pretty much where we are. I mean, I know that there was a time when brothers tried to get along and we tried to pretend like we wasn't, you told us, oh yeah, nah, F you, man. That's what we are. I think black men are tired of people trying to tell them what to do and tired of being shamed and tired of voting for a Democratic Party that doesn't actually do anything for black men and kind of caters towards black women. All the set-asides are for black women. So, black men are kind of done. And I know this is a very inarticulate, foul, vulgar way of announcing that, but you're not putting any money in my pocket. What you're doing is not helping me. It's not benefiting me in any way. So you know what? F-bomb you. That's what the brothers do.
Yeah, on my thing, I don't give a fuck when nobody talking about what the fuck I want to do. And I'll go again. Fuck you talking about.
And I go.
Kamala ain't never.
You heard him. Now I'm going to put the link in the chat room. The link is in the chat room. We hadn't had a link in the chat room in a minute, okay? I put the link in the chat room. I'd love to hear what you all have to say. Now, as I wait for you all to roll in earlier, I think what inspired this broadcast, along with that, was that this is actually something that's on a lot of people's minds. I saw the brother here. This is a young brother right here. I reached out to him, and he's on Instagram. His name is Reggie Hart. He's a young brother. I think he might be from New Orleans, and he had this to say. I'm going to show you this screen Are y'all still with me? Hit the number 1 button if you're with me. I'm just saying, the brother said this. The brother's name is Reggie Ford. He's on Instagram. You guys can go talk to him and whatnot. And I'm sure there are other folks out here that feel the same way. Okay. And he basically said this. Trump is not a Republican or a Democrat. He's a white nationalist. And if you are black and support a white nationalist in any form, okay, you are a major part of the reason we're dead last as a group. And in this country, health, wealth, and freedom. That's what the brother said. That's what the brother said. Now, I sent the link to the brother a couple times, and I don't know if he got it on time, but if he didn't, that's fine. And then he had a follow-up. He said this. He said, you would never see a group of white men supporting a black nationalist. Example of black nationalist, Farrakhan. That's what he said. And I was like, man, that day people are feeling strong about this subject. You know, they are angry out here about what happened in this situation. And I'm just like, man, like, really? Is that what we are? We just gonna be mad like that? But my response to the brother, if the brother is out there listening, the thing is, and I kind of emphasized, I stated this earlier. As to your point that anybody who supported Donald Trump, first of all, you conclude that he's a white nationalist. You say he's not a Republican, which he is. That's just factually inaccurate, number one. And remember, the link is in the chat room. Anybody who wants to come in, the link is in the chat room. I'm gonna let y'all come on in here and chop it up with me. You saying Donald Trump is a white nationalist. Maybe he is. But isn't Joe Biden? That's the alternative, right? You say he's not a Republican, but clearly he's a Republican candidate, so that's incorrect. And if we support him in any form, then you're a major part of the reason we're dead last as a group. So you basically saying we should not support the president of the United States, and we live in the United States. I want you to think about that. You're telling black people, if we, over the next 4 years, if we support him in any way, that's the reason why we're dead in health, wealth, and freedom. I think that's a bit extreme, brother. I would like to ask you some questions about that, but I think that's a bit extreme to say that. Nevertheless, we got our first person up in here. Welcome, Devin Lockett, my light-skinned brother from another mother. What's happening, bro? How you doing? You got your mute on, man. I can't hear you, but the link is in the chat room. I'd love to get you guys in here to explain to me what I'm not seeing. Okay. I'd like to know what it is that makes Donald.
There we go. Sorry about that, brother.
Yeah, brother. Now look. We are getting back. We're gonna have a kinder, gentler broadcast up in here. Don't be around here cussing up the people.
No, man.
TikTok. Go ahead. Let's talk. So you got a lot of black liberals mad that my man Nelly and all these other folks are performing at this inauguration. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's ridiculous, man. Yo, you got to take that L. You know, Kamala lost. You got to take that L. I mean, at this point, we in it for the ride now. Tomorrow's the day. I'm 2 days shy of my 60th birthday, brother. All right. Yeah. But tomorrow's the day. I just came from Walmart, man. I was in line and looked like the Mexicans. They look mad, and I told the cashier, I'm like, yo, man, they must be mad because Trump's coming in office tomorrow.
Man, you just going full racist out here. Look.
Wait. The cashier was a black woman, and she was mad. Yo, the cashier was a sister, man.
Devin, don't you have some children by a Mexican woman? I came in here. I just sat up and told you we're not doing that this year.
Spain, not Mexico, Spain.
I'm not about to play this game with you. I'm not going to do it. We're going no, sir. Anyway, give me a minute. This is actually the brother who made one of the videos, and I want to let him talk. Okay, so we'll get back to you in a minute. I'm gonna give him an opportunity to his thoughts on it. But we'll be right back. We're gonna get this brother in here. Mr. Black Man Swimming 99. Is this you? Is this you right here?
Don't be surprised that Snoop is performing at the inauguration. Don't do that.
No. That is not me. That's not me. That's not me.
Damn, man, you look just like this dude, bro. Hold on a minute.
Don't be surprised that Nelly is performing. First of all, I ain't never liked Nelly, so I ain't gonna waste no time talking about that dude. Ain't no loss. But when
I look he's straight.
Y'all tell the truth. Don't look like it. Look just like you, bro. I thought, well, anyway.
Brother can't even have a beard, man.
He ain't him. But anyway, go ahead, Black Man Swimming. What would you like to add to this conversation? Go ahead.
Man, so as you know, man, I work with kids, and I post this in Facebook every time, man. And I want to say it was in 2020. They came out with a statistic that say that 85% of African American students can't pass a reading proficiency test, and 84 of African American students can't pass a math proficiency test. And if you know any teacher that work in the high school or in the elementary school, they will tell you that it is true and it is obvious. And if Kamala Harris was one, it would have still been true. It was true under Obama. It was true under Trump's first term, and that is a bigger problem, right? Unless you have sat down with your kids and have listened to them read something, it's an 85 to 84% chance that your kid is stupid.
So basically, what you're saying, brother, we got bigger problems than this, and I get what you mean. Let's move on to my man Jay MGTOW. I can't say that word, bro. That's gonna get me demonetized. Saying I'm just calling you JMG, JMGTOW. Jay, what's up, brother? What would you like to add? And again, it seems like you got a lot of black liberals who are angry. They're very angry right now because Nelly and some of the other urban rappers are going to the inaugural ball, and they are going to sing their little rap songs. Are they going down to Washington, D.C.? What are your thoughts, Jay? Go ahead. I can't hear Jay. Can y'all hear Jay? Jay, you got to unmute yourself, Jay. Jay ain't able to talk. Look, my man Tunnel Runner, can you hear me? Joshua, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Tunnel,
go ahead. What Tunnel Runner? What are your thoughts on this? I mean, you know, it's an open forum, man. I'd like to hear what you all think. I have my thoughts. I share that. What are your thoughts?
But I always say, go where you appreciate. And if they appreciate you, if Trump wants you, and he's gonna appreciate you, and he's gonna pay you, go. Okay. You know, that's as simple as that. Go where people want to see you, want to be with you. I mean, my wife is Colombian. I went there because she appreciates me. She cooks for me every day. She does what I need her to do every day.
That's what I'm talking about.
She's for me and she's down, and she will follow my lead. And that's what I say about Michelle Obama. I have to talk about her for a minute because
let's not talk about her right now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stay focused.
Okay, let's stay focused.
Hey, God, we're gonna stay focused.
Okay.
On black folks, but I think what seems to be misplaced anger, that's futile anyway. But let's go to my man Joshua, and then we go to Jay MGTOW. Hopefully, he got his sound. Joshua, what would you like to add to this conversation? And the link is in the chat room. Anybody who wants to come in, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Well, whenever I hear the term racist this, racist that, I got some questions. What was, if he really is the biggest racist of all racists, he's kind of doing a poor job when I hear him signing and working with black colleges.
Good point.
Combined with the fact that with how the last couple of years were, I don't see anyone talking about all the issues that have struck, and then a lot of things that got toned down, and I just laugh at. So he's racist because reasons, but we're not going to talk about the part with who we had previously say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Right.
Wait, I ain't black? Wait, so this is me? Really? It's not like I was born with this skin color and gonna die in this skin color.
Yeah.
you got
So yeah, a lot of people are so entrenched in their political, I guess, side that they just missing some obvious facts. And the fact is, first of all, I don't even think old man Joe Biden is even capable of running the country for another day, much less another term. But you know, some people almost they would have voted for him. My man Jay, did you get your sound together? Jay, make sound together. Tony Brooks, welcome back to the broadcast. Tony, look, man, I just want to know, does it really matter what these black liberals and folk think, considering the term, the direction the country seems to be headed? I mean, do they really? Is anybody listening to them? That's what I want to know. Go ahead, brother.
Absolutely not, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Yeah.
Absolutely not, man. And the audacity for anyone to be complaining when they just had Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and Beyonce. And granted, Obama didn't even get up there. Not only did he shun black men, he got up there and was singing the rap songs of a white man's lyrics. The audacity for them to be mad that they didn't hire young man Soulja Boy, who we know is a C listing B, maybe at best, but to put some money in that young brother's pocket and still go with somebody such as Snoop Dogg, who's holding the torch for the black rap society that's actually, no one wants to say it, that's actually dying right now.
I would agree.
And he's over there at the Olympics, and not only that, he was a formal and still gang banging Crip that's still putting himself out there, and he's making these waves. And then the nerve of them to say anything when they were just kneeling at the NFL, and then coming around and had Jay-Z come in there, and all of a sudden everybody forgot about that. To me, I don't even understand how in the world they can do that, man. And I took a huge L in having that philosophy. I knew better even back then, because you taught me how to vote my interests some years back, and I always considered voting my interests. But a business that I had, I was so keen on trying to help the Democratic Party that the Republicans came to me with almost a stimulus bailout package, and I didn't take advantage of the opportunity because I was like so afraid of what people would have thought. Man, if I could go back right now, and the Democrats left me high and dry when I was trying to explain to them they was making some terrible mistakes, and see them do it and still take a huge L. And then for Obama to be sitting up there having conversations, chitty-chatting at the funeral with Donald Trump, and it's about business, it's about money, this political stuff, we getting caught up in the wrong thing. So yeah, man, that's my opinion about it. I just feel like the audacity for them to allow us to, put ourselves against each other. Like you still ain't learned our lesson. We still ain't learned our lesson.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a lot going on. Look, you guys, my thoughts are this: they lost. You lost, and nobody wants to hang out with the losers. You want us to just stay home and not make our money doing rap songs because I'm supposed to stay loyal to you, and these people are offering me money to come down here. I'm not coming for free. They might be giving these folk $100,000, couple $100,000 to go perform. They just supposed to miss that money, right? They perform everywhere else in America. They perform in Republican states, Democrat states, overseas, and they're supposed to miss that money just so they can seem dedicated and loyal to the Democrat Party. I want y'all to picture this. Think about it like this. This is like middle school. We don't like her, so you can't like her if you want to be our friend. And if we turning our back on her, so you're supposed to turn your back. This is some middle-aged girl stuff that we got going on here. Again, fellas, my suggestion is vote your interest. My suggestion is at all times figure out what's in the best interest of you and go with that. Here's the thing. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Shout out to my man B-Ben Israel. Welcome to the broadcast. Does it really matter what black folk think? I mean, let's just keep it 100. We couldn't carry the Democrat Party. They didn't win. You don't think they over there saying just having a black vote alone is not gonna help us win? What political weight do we even carry? And don't you think these artists who are multimillionaire, who's have access to pollsters and can see the direction it's going, are recognizing that just rolling and doing what black folks say do is not going to put money in their bank, help them have political clout? Don't you think they realize that? And if we really dig into it, we as black men know that for the most part, unless you are a school teacher or some sort of black minority contractor, we didn't really benefit much from the policies of the Democrat Party. I didn't get an EBT card, never was eligible. I didn't get affirmative action, never was eligible. I don't get HUD. I don't get, what is it? I don't get housing stipends. I don't get any benefit from the Democrat Party. That was black women that benefited from the Democratic Party. And black men are realizing that we don't benefit from the Democrat Party. Black women don't like us as much as we would hope they would like us. So why are we voting in their political interests? And they calling us mean names on the internet. So now that you got black men and black women kind of separated, and then they come back and say, well, we don't need a man for the past 10, 20 years. Oh, but we need y'all to come vote for us. You see what I'm saying? So this is kind of, and this is the issue that this is a new day. We don't have the political power that we used to have because we're not even together anymore. And because black men and women have realized we have the divergent political ideologies, I don't think it's going to happen. Nevertheless, the floor is open, gentlemen. Who wants to say something? Go ahead. I'm listening.
One thing I'd like to chime in on is I just get sick of the discourse when, if you already can look at both sides of the spectrum and see the pros and cons, but if you just so happen to differ any bit slightly, it's classified as you're for the other party, and I'm left with, can't I have my own dissenting opinion?
Good point. Yeah, good point. You are, I've been, you guys know I've been on a little vacation, kind of just chilling, man. And it seems to me that black people, if you just really look at it, well, first let me do this. You guys, we got 4 people in the super chat who contributed and 1 cash out. Make sure you show me some love. Let's try to get to 20. That'll be plenty. Hell, you know what? Just give me the 10 and that'll be a win. Right now we got 4 and that ain't good to go. So give me 6 more super chats as we continue this conversation. But black people are socialists. Hear me out. We are very much socialist. If a black person becomes successful and has money, he's expected to take that money that he earned and give it to the community and spread it out. Black it doesn't even matter if you're not even related to these people. You see what I mean? Yeah, we black, but remember, we came from we got different ethnical mixes. Some of us got some Asian, some of us got some Native American, some of us got some Congolese Africans, some of us have some Central African. Even in Africa, we were a separate people, but now we supposed to come together and share our resources, our time. You brothers are bound to marry a woman of African descent if you get some money just so she can have some of your money. We are very socialist in that view. And I don't think black people realize that this is 1955 anymore. 48 Laws, Artistic War. What are your thoughts on that? Is that why they feel as though Joshua kind of brought it up? You can't have any diverging opinions because you're not supposed to. You see what I mean? Just think about that. Shout out to my man MD Johnson. Floor is open, guys. Let's see what you got.
I think we just witnessed something historic that just took place with this last election that is going to set the framework for a lot of change moving forward in the future. This is the first time that the block of just black people voting unanimously on one president it didn't happen. Whether if they stayed at home and took a seat, or if they voted for Trump, or whatever the case may be. What we saw just take place was something that we've never seen before. So I think it's going to take a while for us to adjust and get caught up and see what actually happens. But you got this old guard dog of who you're supposed to be voting for, who you're supposed to be sleeping with, all of that. All of that's out the window. I tried to educate so many of the Democrats on what's going on in these YouTube streets. I said, ever since COVID, there's been a change. You're not gonna, these brothers is not gonna be dating single mamas, and I tried to get them to understand how that was connected to politics, right? Because they couldn't see the connection. You know, I was saying Kevin Samuels and this, that, and other. I'm like, but I'm saying it for a reason, not to trigger you, but I'm trying to tell you that there's an undertone there. You can't have Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Men are not feeling that, and if you want men's vote, you're gonna have to be on the same page with them. And granted enough, a few of the sisters, you know, we didn't give a lot of our sisters credit, but there was a few of them out there that was like, nah, we with our black man, we ain't with that. You know, we ain't with that. So I think that it's gonna take time. I think that there's gonna be since this is so fresh and so new, you're going to have a lot of the older people who don't understand what's going on. You know, my uncle explained it to me like this. He says, back in the day, I remember when the old people didn't understand why we cared about Malcolm X. And they thought that Malcolm X was like, he messing stuff up for us and this, that, and other. But the young folks was like, no, y'all don't get it. And I think that's what's happening again. I think history is repeating itself, where the old heads are like, yo, man, you supposed to be voting this way, and we're supposed to align this way, and and the young heads are like, nah, bro, if I want a white girl or a Dominican girl, if I want to vote this way, I'm going to vote my interest. There's a totally different wave that's taking place. So I'm happy to see it, and I think it's much needed.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that input. Yeah, man, I definitely see that. V Ben Israel, you haven't spoke much, man. Jump in here, man. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Well, I was just listening to what the brother just said about Malcolm. And back in the day, I was there. So it wasn't so much a generational thing. It was more a regional thing. So depending on where you were located, you were either Malcolm or Martin. So typically in the South, it was more Martin orientated. But if you were in the Northeast or Northwest, like Chicago, you were more geared towards what Malcolm had to say.
Okay.
But the reason they killed both of them is because the brothers were finding out they were really saying the same thing. They were just saying it differently. But what we're experiencing now, it didn't start with Donald Trump. They're trying to use Trump as a target. But this movement that we see started with black men rebelling against the gynocracy. That started in 2010 under Obama. We saw Obama switch in 2010, and we started moving away from the Democratic Party in 2010. And specifically during Obama's second term, we said, wait a minute, this isn't for us. We're not getting anything out of this. We went into Obama's presidency at the highest levels of black home ownership. We came out at the lowest levels in history for black home ownership. He wasn't for us. We saw it during Stacey Abrams when she tried to dance on, God rest the Godfather's soul, Kevin Samuel's grave, and we rebelled against her election. We rebelled against that down there in Atlanta. So we've been moving constantly and further away from the Democratic Party before Trump even came down the escalator. Way before that happened. That's my thoughts.
That's very, very insightful, especially with the historical analysis of how I think Barack Obama, we saw him as our last hope. If a black president can't do it, we ain't gonna get it done this way. I think we kind of said, oh man, hell with it. Devin, man, what chime in on this, man? I don't think they really understand how, what did they used to say? How less F's, black men. I don't think we have any more F's to give as far as what the Democrats think. The majority of black women who seem to only be concerned about their own political interest. I remember there was a convention of women, I don't know, wine with the ladies or something. Ice Cube was, I forget what the thing was called back in the day.
Yeah, that was with Vivica Fox. That was on the soul and Lisa Ray.
Yeah, they specifically said, well, you know, we have our own interests. And brothers like, oh, really? Okay. So I don't think, Devin, I think you more than anyone can articulate that black men really don't give a crap about the black community like that. Not like we love ourselves. We love our sisters that's down with us. We love our children. But overall, I don't think we have that sort of unity that we had back in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s because we don't have to. And the black community is, for the most part, turned their back on real masculine fathers, black men, black fathers. And so, like, we don't even get anything from the community. Why should we care politically what happens? Go ahead, open up, let them have it.
And Big Mama is dead. So black women that expect us to bow to the matriarchy, bow to the gynocracy, don't deserve our respect like that. They don't deserve it. We are still the swing vote in this country. But what we just proved is that black men are the swing vote because black women could not pull Kamala into office without us.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. That's what's up.
Yeah, neither can they do Stacey Abrams. Either way, same thing.
Exactly. We're the swing vote. Black men, in particular, are the swing vote in the country. Okay, not black people, black men.
Man, and you mentioned that they can't do it without us, and everybody noticed that it's black men who are the key.
That's right.
You see Trump's office. You see his cabinet. He had a couple of brothers. A lot of women, but not one black woman. Not one black woman. You see that? And I'm not here to pick on the sisters right now. I'm just saying it's not in black men's interest to vote for the Democrat Party. And
never was.
Of the black people, black women benefit the most from the policies of the Democrat Party. And you're going to have to do more than try to shame us. These brothers are sitting over there with their Latina wives right now. They got their Latina wives in the kitchen making beans and rice right now, and you telling us your mama black, and they like, I don't care if my mama black, that's not putting any money in my pocket, and I got to keep these Venezuelan migrants from coming up here, shooting up my city and taking my job. That's what I'm concerned about right now. And in fact, I don't want our sons and daughters at these schools having little girls especially having to wrestle with boys dressed like girls in the damn wrestling matches anymore. Okay, I'm tired of that. We were tired of the direction that the country was going, and black women with sense understand why. Now, I want y'all to understand something. It's some black women who are traditional, who are married to men, who love their men. They're lockstep with us. You see what I mean? It's the ones who Kevin Samuel said was going to die alone. That mentality is the one struggling right now because they revoking them EBT cards. But go ahead and finish up, Devin, and then just keep on. And who else? I think my man Tony is next. Man, go ahead, Devin. Please finish.
That's the real, man. We're not succumbing to the will of black women. We're not succumbing to the matriarchy or the gynocracy. That's all the Democrats were trying to do. They were trying to define the black community as being run by women, and that's what's going on. And you know what makes me sad is how many black families went apart this past holiday season, didn't spend Thanksgiving together, didn't spend Christmas together, all behind a woman who claims to be black, and everybody knows she's not. And we all know she's not. You know, I mean, based off racial loyalty, just because someone says they're a part of our culture and a part of our community, it's ridiculous, man.
Well, it's kind of funny because she never even claimed it. She just allowed us to believe it. She was very careful in her verbiage.
She knows that no Indian would ever speak to her again if she opened her mouth and said she was a black woman.
You know, I was always curious. It's off topic a little bit, but I was wondering where her father was. He's still alive, but he's been very quiet.
Right. Well, he'd be quick to tell you that Jamaican ain't necessarily black.
Well, they ain't black at all. I mean, you know, but then, you know, that's another topic. I find it funny. We kind of touched on this a few years back. I was on here. We was talking about they were coming out with the Freaknik tapes. Came on that night. We kind of touched on this barbarian at the gate thing because that's what we are. And Uncle D has been predicting this for a while. And here we are. The barbarian is at the gate, and the negotiation is over. Frankly, I'm sick of the circular arguments, and that's what we see. See, the gynocracy has hijacked all of the leftist organizations, the Black Church, all our political institutions, the colleges, everything. The brother pointed out earlier about the education. It ain't even just black kids. It's all kids can't read. None of them can read. White and black and otherwise. But the gynocracy has hijacked it, and we've moved beyond feminism. We've moved into womanism and gynocracy, and masculine. The pendulum is swinging. Masculinity we're swinging back towards masculinity, and they're losing their minds.
Yeah, you are on point with that. Let me give a big shout out to my man Big Boss. Real talk. Trump wasn't racist until he ran for president on a Republican ticket and beat Hillary Clinton. Trump,
that's right.
With rappers, even Jesse Jack. Man, this video footage of all the rappers and hanging out with Trump, photographs. You got video. You got pictures of Donald Trump hanging out with Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton.
They sisters.
An NAACP award for some sort of humanitarian award by the NAACP. You see what I mean?
And they love bringing up. He didn't rent to black people. He was doing luxury hotels and properties. I wouldn't be renting to him either.
Yeah.
Let's be real about this.
Especially when you look into that actual lawsuit, and the black people who were complaining were on Section 8, and he didn't want to rent to welfare recipients at his high-end luxury property.
Exactly.
Let me look at the camera real quick. If Uncle D has some high-end luxury property, I wouldn't want to rent to your butt either. I don't want your little certificate from HUD. Okay, keep it. I'm not renting for you either. All right, just let me keep it 100 with. It's a lot of rich black people that have nice property that don't want to rent to people who have those certificates from HUD. We don't want it. Okay. Now, brother Ben Israel, let me get to because I want to follow. He said, Tony Brooks, give me a minute. Brother Israel said something very interesting, and I actually put a note in here. Have black women hijacked, or have the black liberals hijacked those liberal parties, or have they been duped into taking the lead? Because see, nobody lets you in unless they want you to be there. I want you to think about something. I mentioned about 3 or 4 years ago about how all these black lawyers who were basically put up as attack dogs for the Democrat Party. I told you guys, this don't smell right. Why are all of these people in these positions black? Fonnie Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, the other brother down there. You see the one that was in New York, he quit. He said, I'm out of here. You see the brother who attorney, U.S. attorney for New York, I'm done. I'm out. He was left. Jack Smith, you can have it. So what I'm trying to say, fellas, is I think a lot of these black folks who are, and I believe you call it, Brother V, you call it ultra liberal. What did you call it? You said the ultra liberal. What do you refer? What was the term you used to refer to these people who was extremists with their liberal views? What did you say?
I just think they're extreme gynocrats. Womanism and gynocrats.
Yeah. In other words, what I'm saying is they set them up to take a L. They set them up to take a fall. You see what I mean? So it's not that they've hijacked these organizations and took the lead. They've been duped into taking this lead.
Right. Well, Brother Angry Man calls it Order 66. Order 66 was programmed by Willie Lynch. If you read the Willie Lynch letters, particularly the part where it says the making of a slave, when it says they broke the black man and destroyed his image, and that would take the black woman and take her from her natural dependent state and put her in an unnatural independent state, and she would be frozen there. And once she's there, she will raise her children in reversed order. The boys will want to be girls, the girls will want to be boys. And if you implement my methods, we will do this for 300 years. Those letters were written in the 1700s. Where are we now? 300 years later, and we're doing it to ourselves. That's the guy now.
I personally investigated the Willie Lynch letters, and they are not, they weren't from 1700. Somebody wrote them in like the 1970s, but there's a point to them. I get what they're saying, but they're not actually written in the 1700s. But I get the general principles that are discussed. My man Big Boss Real Talk said Trump just saved TikTok. You're welcome. LOL. My man Tony Brooks, you were gonna chime in a little earlier to add in. What would you like to add in? Go ahead, brother.
So you were hitting on exactly what I was about to say, and the angle that I was going to come up from is I remember what you said about that, but I also remember that you had about a year or two ago, you started talking about how they are placing black women. They start showing a lot more black women fighting. They were showing women aggressive, taking shots and shooting them. And at that time, I'm sitting there in my room thinking to myself, like, man, I think Uncle D's on to something. There's a play that's being had, and they're falling right into it. Yeah. And the plan, ultimately was exposure. I had a long conversation with a lot of the black women that I deal with in my life, and I said, it's different when we're talking about this amongst ourselves in Black YouTube world and the Kevin Samuels, and we're arguing and debating. The rest of the world don't know yet. They don't know how ghetto acting y'all are. They don't know how ratchet y'all can be. They don't know. They hear about it. They see it, but since they don't have to directly deal with it, it's like, hey, it's y'all problem. That's y'all women. Y'all crazy for dealing with that.
Right.
What I hate more than anything is you guys didn't expose yourself to the whole damn world.
Yeah.
We can't even defend it anymore. It's like when you got a gang banging cousin or a drunk uncle, but they in the house. But when you got to be out in public at work and they come to work with you, you just be like, oh my God, yeah, this is my drunk uncle. We pretty much had to the world say, this is our prostitute sisters.
Yeah, we used to keep Uncle Bobby Earl at the cookout. We ain't let him out outside of that.
Bro,
yeah, exactly.
Tony, man, and it was another aspect of that I added that a lot of people might not remember. I also said it was going to get to the point that black men would be too embarrassed to even be seen in public or interact with black women. I said that part too. They will be, you see it, and you got black men right now. 5 years ago, when I first, we would at least speak to each other in public. Some of you brothers see black women and don't even speak to them. You see what I mean? Because you don't want to be, go ahead, please, brother.
I thought about your life and what you went through. I've been living in the Dominican Republic for 5 months.
Yeah.
I can't even deal with it no more, man. And it breaks my heart. But I'm like, if I'm going to try to have a chance, I ain't going to be able to make it in America. And that was something I had to come to realization to, that if I do want to pursue a family, if I do want to pursue a life, and I want these traditional things, I don't know if I'm going to get it here. And I don't know if at the end of it, the juice is going to be worth the squeeze. And that was heartbreaking, man. But honestly, I feel so much better just not having to deal with it. Just not having it around me and taking my energy.
And the thing is, man, I don't want to ostracize all black women because I love black women. I love black people.
I do too.
But we have to begin to highlight the Pookie and the Ray Ray behavior. And we have to begin to highlight the degenerate behavior amongst black women. We can't just keep shifting the blame on black men. We've done that for 70 years and nothing has changed. Now we have to lay the burden of change or what needs to change in our culture on where it belongs. And what has not been addressed is the behavior of black American women, the degeneracy. And you see what's happened. Now you can't tell them nothing. They were told that it's all the black man's fault. They were told that they're victims because of the black man. And so anything they can think of to blame, whatever degenerate behavior they had on them, they would just shift the blame to black people. So they never matured. They never grew. They never changed. And so now here we are in 2025. You got a group of women who've emerged onto the political scene in positions as mayor, vice president, CEO, prosecutor. And because they've never been held accountable for their misdeeds, they think they can get away with everything. And so this is what happened when you have a group of people who are able to shift blame. They don't have that. Black men, yeah, we ain't perfect, but you know what? We know we gonna get punished. We usually the first ones to get punished, and so we're used to being held accountable. And so because of that, there's a certain maturity that goes along. But if you just unleash black women with the education and all that, they think they can get away with anything and they become a detriment to themselves. Here's my problem. My problem is there are good black women, decent black women, law-abiding black women, wholesome black women who get caught up into that same stereotype as these degenerates. Just like many of us, they confuse us with the Pookie and the Ray Ray. You can't allow your 16, 17-year-old son to wear a hoodie, even if he's a good kid, because he fits the stereotype. You see what I mean? And the same thing is going to happen to black women. They're going to get caught up into the stereotypes, and that's what you see happen. You see them being targeted, whether it's we're talking about the prison system, whether we're talking about courtrooms. You see it happening every day, and it's going to get worse and worse. HRH Obofani Abutuli Lee Ife. Great to see you, Dennis. Welcome back. Be on the lookout for an invitation to my coronation. I'll be there. Shout out. But go ahead, brother. Please finish. Please continue.
So I think black men have done a hell of a job over the course of the last 20 years, separating themselves from what we had to go through. And I remember you talked about this as well, from the gangster music to the gangster image to us talking about Afro text to we talking about brothers that are passport bros or to we talking about our brothers that are attorneys, doctors who know how to handle themselves. And I'll give you an example. We can say whatever we wanted with President Obama. He held it to a higher standard. It wasn't as if he was coming in as a president and we had to worry about him inviting OTF or some kind of gangster atmosphere to it. Even though he took our culture and added a Jay-Z maybe or Beyonce, he made sure that they separated the quality of what black men excellence is versus what black in vice versa to the way black women, supposedly a black woman. This is the first time ever in history we had a black woman that made it this far into potentially being the president of the United States. And for black women to allow her to allow a Glorilla or a Cardi B or a Megan Thee Stallion to come in, that is one, I think is just totally insane. I don't know why the AKAs didn't step up. I don't know why the Deltas didn't step up. I don't know why there was a call where women say, hey, hold up. Because there's no doubt in my mind, if Eric Adams is going through what he's going through, but if we got to pull your coattail and tell you, nah, brother, you doing too much, man. You doing too much. We will make sure we do that. There will be a understanding, as you said or as you mentioned, that we know better. There's a way of knowing that, hey, you overcrossing stepping the lines. If you do too much, P. Diddy, we will throw you in jail and you will have a RICO. As my man Dave Chappelle said, the only person in history got a RICO and he's the only person in jail.
And I don't think they understand the tone and pulse of black men in this country. I could probably take a poll right now. Brothers, how many of you are repulsed by women like Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla twerking on the internet and TV? If you're repulsed by it, type R in the chat room. Or you brothers who are listening, if you're repulsed by that behavior, it does not stimulate you sexually. It does not turn you on. You see it for what it is, just degenerate behavior. How many of you all?
It's an embarrassment.
Go ahead. Tell them how you really feel, because see, they think
it's an embarrassment.
Booty shaking. Go ahead, brother. Talk to them.
It's an embarrassment to black womanhood. Okay, just like all of this trans sensitivity is an embarrassment to real womanhood, to all women. But it's an embarrassment. I really hate to see that elevated and placed on display before the world with the media, and now placed on this display as though they're supposed to be some type of intellectuals. We're supposed to vote the way they say vote.
Yeah. Whether you're religious or not, you don't even have to be religious. We don't want to see our women being paraded across these political stages like they're prostitutes.
Right.
Some of you who have daughters, some of your mothers, you see, I mean, you know, you don't have to like Megan Thee Stallion, but I got cousins and relatives and sisters that look like her. You see what I mean? And that she's a representative of black women, and this is the best you have to offer. And here's the cold part about it. This is a so-called educated woman, but she's still degenerate, which lets you know those PhDs don't separate you. They don't separate you from your degenerate behavior. You can't smack a PhD, give a PhD to a hooker and think she's gonna stop being having that sort of low moral value. I'm just saying.
After all that studying, all she can talk about is her vagina.
I'm telling you, man, and it's like brothers are repulsed by that. We've gotten to the point now. I mean, I love a fine woman, but now I done seen so much twerking on the internet for the past 15 years. I just delete pages at this point. I don't even want to see it. I mean, I don't want to look at that. Joshua, man, you've been quiet for a minute, man. Jump in here, man. What else would you like to add? And we kind of got off the topic a little bit. We're kind of generally talking about why black liberals, you can be mad all you want, but black men in America have gone in separate ways. And there are a lot of black women who are following along with us because we don't like the direction that the country is headed. We don't like the degeneracy. We don't like the influx of immigrants from the southern border. We don't like the way our cities are being run. Devin, I think you out there in San Diego, California. I mean, you probably got a lot of folks. You in LA, I mean, the city's on fire. A major American city is on fire on the West Coast. New York is a crap hole. This is what we are. And now you expect us to vote for the same people who have put us on this train bound for nowhere. Josh, go ahead, brother.
Can't even keep the water fire hydrants full of water.
You sitting next to the Pacific Ocean and you can't find water. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Right. They can't even douse fires, and we're right here by the beach.
Yeah. Josh, man, I want to get you involved. Talk to me. Shout out to PPB Army. Salute to you, Uncle D, for providing this space for black men of stature to be heard, clear, and unfiltered. $20. Thank you so much. Brother Josh, go ahead, man. I want to hear you.
Well, the first thing I'll start with is from Replicant Fish, quality knows its standards. And we keep in mind, I say this coming as I've understood our history and we've grown. We're a people of honor and distinction, and we held ourselves to many standards, even when we had so much adversity towards us, so much pain and sorrow, but we still stood tall and we dared to be something more being out here in America. So it doesn't really help that if this part comes from me, I want to help, I want to care, I want all this, but let's put it simple. I'm not about to get intimate with stupidity.
There it is. Okay.
Keep in mind, I'm a black man and I have my own rights. I have my interests. I want to have a family one day, but I also know that I would never forgive myself if I gave any sort of stereotype of what has been said, because I'd want to give the kids that would come from me something different. And when I see what's out here and presented, it doesn't exactly create a good image, combined with I don't want to even associate with it. I know we are capable, great, all sorts of things. I don't want these images associated with myself or my kids.
Yeah.
I love them before they even exist. So I want to be the standard of someone more than how he started as his beginning to what I want to be at my ending for the day when I meet God.
Very, very thoughtful, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. We got the link in the chat room. I see we got a couple of ladies in here, man. Shout out to all the ladies who are hanging out with us.
Come on in, lady.
Yeah, man. They come over here, man. They check me out. They like it because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is pretty much, I would not say the only, but one of the only pages where black men, real black men, you know, not polished YouTubers and folk. This is where the brothers get a chance to really chop it up and speak openly. And I invite that. And I'm not here to bash you or fight with you. I will challenge you on your thoughts. But, you know, I just basically take what you guys say and what you think and repeat it to the world. That's why I'm an advocate for black men, which is why I say things like vote your interest. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. Vote your interest, which is why I tell you, brothers, I invite you to speak up. Brothers, we are about 20 minutes away from finishing this broadcast because we'll be at that 2-hour mark. The title of the broadcast was Black Liberals Mad Again, rappers for performing at Trump inauguration. Now, I think I've explained myself. Where are we going from here? What is the next 4 years? That's kind of, I have an idea what the next 4 years is going to be like. And I think we're going to drag some people kicking and screaming into progress. I think what's going to happen is Donald Trump is going to do so much as far as reforming the tax code. And there's some rumors out there that he is going to do away with the tax child credit. And I'm going to talk about that in detail tomorrow. He's going to do away with the tax child credit for the person who receives child support. In other words, if you pay child support, then you get the tax child credit, which is up to $2,000 per child. And so the person who receives
and earn income credit.
The person, in other words, if dad is paying mom child support, he gets to write the kids off on his taxes. Mom can't do it anymore. You can negotiate that in a custody settlement or a child support settlement, but now it's going to be his by right. She can't do it, so by default, it's left to him. You see what I mean? So, you know, and I think brothers are going to be like, I think, you know, look, my family gives me a hard time, and my woman, she said, this is what you say she. When a black man says she, that means a lot. That means, hey, I might need to rethink this. She. Yeah, you know, black people who voted Democrat who are going to look at Donald Trump and look at some of these policies and say, shit. I think that's what's going to happen, man. Shout out. What do you guys think? What do we have? What's in the forecast for the next 4 years from black?
I think a lot of brothers are missing the importance of what you just said, because most of us are single and childless. But that's a power dynamic. Because if you look at Dr. Hassan Johnson's 18-point black male political agenda, number one on that list is child support. So finally, we're seeing some movement within the courts that are swinging back towards our way. So even though we may not have children, the majority of us, that's still a power dynamic a lot of us need to pay attention to.
And you know where that came from, brother? What you know why he's amending the child support code?
Because the brother from the UCLA, y'all came up with a whole PowerPoint program for what black men wanted. Are you talking about that?
It's a little closer to home because Donald Trump's youngest son, Barron Trump, listens to the manosphere.
That's right.
And so he knows. That's why he went on Joe Rogan. So that's all of these little folks. Okay, so look, I'm not taking credit for nothing. Okay, Uncle D just with you. I ain't gonna take credit. I ain't gonna be. I'm just saying. All I'm saying is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is all of those people that we were just some dudes on the internet talking crazy and nobody was listening to me. Well, apparently
somebody listened.
The youngest son was listening to me and so many other black men. And whether you like it or not, you got the manosphere proper, and then you got the black manosphere, which is literally the engine that drives the manosphere. You see what I mean? It was Kevin Samuels that blew this thing wide open and packaged it up and made it fashionable and got the whole world saying, well, you know what? This does not look like one of these incels. This man is sitting here with a $4,000 suit on and cologne and swab and with the split. He might be somebody we need to listen to. So the man did what he's supposed to do. Shout out to the late, great Kevin Samuels, man.
Shout out to the Godfather.
Shout out to the Godfather.
Rob, when we look back in history 40, 50 years from now, and we look at the turning point, he's going to be one of those little, I guess, pins.
Bullet point?
One of those little, he's like what the linchpin.
Yeah.
Because he packaged it and made it. That's what he was, a salesman. He packaged it. He made it palatable to the world, and he sold it. And so now here we are. We got the black manosphere, politics, ideology, and culture now affecting politics. Wouldn't that be great if we started making some progress in the form of a tax code, because at the end of the day, like you said, Tony, and Ben, and Joshua and Devin, it's a power dynamic.
That's right.
And the power that the women have over us, the reason they call it a patriarchy is because the patriarch had control of the children. The only reason that we are dealing with a matriarchy is because the women have control of the children.
Right.
If we take the children away from the women and give it to the men, then the men then have the children. You understand? And so the men get all the power back. That's what you got to understand. The minute the law starts stripping the children away from the fathers and giving them to the mothers, that's when feminism became popular. That's when women began to get rights, because they said, well, you know, the women have the children, so we need to cater to them. Let's give them the money. Let's give them the right to vote. Now, as the brother said, the pendulum is swinging back the other way. But yeah, that little boy, that young boy that we saw at that first term, Barron Trump, listens to the manosphere. He listens to Joe Rogan. He knows what we're thinking. So I'm absolutely certain that we're going to see a lot of progress, and there's going to be a lot more black men, especially saying shit. Somebody type shit. Yeah. What's that other boy name? JD Vance. Shit. I'm going to vote for him. Anyway, go ahead.
If JD Vance say anything about family court reform, it's over. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Yeah. Or if he says anything about mandatory DNA testing at every birth, mandatory DNA testing at every birth. We don't put a man's name on the birth certificate until we are certain with DNA that he is the father.
Or if he says it like this, under the Social Security tax code, I think it's subchapter 4, we will not fund these individual states as attorney generals unless they can prove through conclusive evidence via DNA that the money they're collecting is from a man who is actually the biological father. And they have to prove it within 2 years. So in other words, the Social Security Administrative Code, which is a federal law, is what gives these states a financial incentive from the federal government to collect child support, whether it's from a man that is the father or not the father. When you say, no, we're going to put some requirements. Number one requirement, you got to prove that the money you're collecting is from the father. Then otherwise, we're not going to reimburse you. You can do whatever you want on the state level. We're just not going to help you pay for it unless you can give us that DNA evidence, and they can do that. So, yeah, my man said Title 4D. That's exactly right, man.
Right.
Right, yeah, man. Hey, shout out to everybody. I would like to get one more super chat. We had 9, and that's fine. But if we can get 10, that'll be a win. Praise Moses. But anyway, man, what else we gonna say, man? What else we want? Somebody talk to the black liberals. Tell them we don't care. Somebody tell. I don't think they believe me. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I don't care.
I think we need to stop talking to them. I think that the talk is over. I think men need to focus on building themselves up and just we going that way. You either coming with us or you ain't.
It is.
It's too much circular arguments. Too much. And we're wasting time not building ourselves up.
And see, let me tell you what Brother B. Ben Israel just said. He said we don't care anymore. See, men talk to you because they like you. Ladies, if you at home right now, your man is not talking to you anymore, and after years of telling you what he would like to change in the house, and he just stopped talking to you all of a sudden, it's been 2 or 3 months, and no matter what you say, you can't get him riled up. Even the stuff you used to say to get him mad, he don't even respond no more. That means he doesn't care. That means he on his way out the door. That means he might have a side chick lined up. He got another baby mama. He eating somewhere else. He got a stash spot. He about to rent a new apartment. He's gone. And if not mentally, if not physically gone, he's mentally, he's no longer emotionally tied to you. When you start hearing brothers, when you start hearing men, any man, when they start saying we're going to stop talking to them, they don't care anymore. And that is the next step. See, I asked you guys earlier, what's going to happen in the next 5, 10, 12 years? What you're going to start seeing is black men, not only are the negotiation is over, shout out to my man Chief Rocker, not only is the negotiation over, but the brothers got up and walked away from the table. They don't want to talk anymore. There's nothing else to talk about. We can't convince you. You prove to us that you don't care what we think. And so we're going to go on. We're going to go with the women that like us. It's going to be some black women that's going to follow along. Those are the smart ones. Shout out to all the pick-me's. We love pick-me's over here. Shout out to all the pick-me's who want to be married, all the ones who cooking and cleaning and loving their husband and loving on their children and taking care of their family and being good women. We love y'all. We're not talking to you, but you hard-headed, lovely ladies out there who just think, I don't need a man. Good. I'm not going to try to convince you that you do. You're on your own. I hope you, your HUD, and your EBT card work out for you. But that's what's happening, brother. That's what's happening. Shout out to TIQS. Shout out to my man, Chief Rocker. Man, we got 11. That's heaven. Brother, but go ahead. Please finish that. Finish your thought, man. I ain't gonna cut you off.
My condolences to you, Uncle D, for the video yesterday. I remember it breaks my heart. Oh, and another thing, make sure to check on Crimson Cure, because I know she's been doing a lot of good work, but also I've seen the distress in her eyes dealing with just talking on some of the subjects.
I don't know what happened. What's going on, brother? Uncle D I've been hanging out.
It's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. I'm just saying, just like this. Remember how Brother KS dealt with a lot of the stuff in the community? Well, I just make sure she's okay. Just tell her to take a break or something. I know she's been doing her part. But I also say it because this is me, a brother talking about a sister I care about.
Yeah. Crimson Cure. Shout out to the Crimson Cure, man. Y'all go over there and tell her Uncle D show her some love, man. Man, she's. I love the fact that she speaks to women. Like, I try to focus on talking to the brothers. It's not that I can't talk to women, but I'd rather talk to brothers because I think that's where the work is for me. You see what I mean? I can't. Kevin had a niche. He could speak to women. He knew how to get down and dirty with them and just get right as bitchy as they was getting. He said, bitch, get off. He knew how to do that. I don't do that. You know, I
will say it did stress him out a lot.
But yeah, it's easy to talk to black men because y'all willing to take accountability. I can sit here and speak logically to 99.99% of black men, and by the time we finish this conversation, we'll be on the same page. Even if we don't agree to every point, but we can speak logically to each other because you're used to taking responsibility. You've been forced to take accountability, even for things that are not your fault. Some could happen in Montana, but 3 black people in Montana, and one of them is mixed. You see what I'm saying? But for what's going on.
Did y'all see my lady just try to kiss me in front of y'all? She didn't want y'all to see it, so she did it real quick.
You better give us some love and hugs.
I got a good one, y'all. I found me a good one.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. But anyway, like I said, fellas, we used to taking accountability so we can talk. This is easy work. Talking to brothers is easy. I put you on here, and now that the world sees us and they see it's coming out of our mouth, it's a beautiful thing. But anyway, brothers, anybody else got anything else to talk about out here in these YouTube streets?
I give my last opinion, and I'm gonna call it the Spurladamus, because you always give good predictions, and you've been hitting it for the last couple of years. I've been listening to you. You predicted the last one in regards to men not caring, and I'm gonna give a testimony on why I've been seeing that. So 2 brothers that I've met out here. One brother's doing cybersecurity, and another brother is into software development. And both of them got a story in regards to the women that they had. One's been married for 16 years. Another one was married for 20 years, some craziness. And they both found themselves out here, along with myself, having these kind of deep end conversations about how they just don't care. You want half the money, take it. Yeah. You want to take it. I don't even care. You can have
take them kids too. Go ahead.
They don't care. So I'm curious to see if we're gonna look back at this in 2 or 3 years. We'll be like, man, Uncle D again was right on point, because I see it happening. I see it happening.
Brother, we've seen it happen all the time. A lot of you men are grown now. Some of you were born in the 70s, 80s, 90s. We got some 2000 babies in here. Some of y'all understand now, having dealt with the women you've been dealing with, you understand why your daddy left, don't you? You understand why daddy got up away from your crazy acting mama and her family right now. You didn't understand as a child. Your mama told you your daddy didn't love you. He didn't want to be around you. But you realized your daddy had to make a choice between, do I want to go to jail? Do I want to go to hell? Do I want to do something I don't want to do? Do I want to continue arguing and fighting and fussing with this woman who can't be pleased? Once a man has had enough, he's had enough. And look, We are not moms. And that's what the rest of the world needs. We are not mothers with penises. Men have a limit. They will tolerate a lot, but at a certain point, it's over. They stop talking, they move on, and you might as well have never existed. What you see happening on a collective level amongst black men who have been talking and negotiating with black women and for the past 70 years is them saying, I've had enough. I done tried to told you to stop acting like that. I've been telling you, you're loud, you're disrespectful. All you did was respond to me by going to the public and going on every TV show available and telling them how bad I was as a man. Ricky Lake, whatever show it was, Tavis Smiley, all of these, you talk bad about black
men. Oprah.
All Oprah. You went on all them shows. You never took accountability for yourself. And now at this point, it's like, I'm tired of talking to you. I'd rather just be by myself. That's why the majority of black men don't have children and aren't married. That's why you got over, 25% of black men who are married out of wedlock. You are married to women outside of their race. You got brothers who have now got a whole movement called Passport Bros that popped up 2 or 3 years ago at this point, but it's been an underground quiet thing. You got brothers say, and then you got other brothers who say, you know, I'd rather just stay home and play video games rather than deal with this. And the main thing, though, is all of them don't care anymore. And so that's what you're going to see happening right now. Brothers ain't talking no more. And that's when it gets dangerous for black society. But again, there's still going to be a black society. It's just going to be filled up and mothered by children who may or may not even be of African descent. So they'll still be in the community. They just won't be in the same culture.
That's what they don't realize is that we don't need them. They need us. We can make black babies with anybody.
Ain't that the truth?
They can only make black babies with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I tell brothers all the time when they come to my channel, don't come to my channel looking for ammunition to argue with women. We come to my channel to get built up, to find a way to make yourself better. So you don't have to argue with women.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I did it for 20 years. I was married for 20 years, 4 kids and 2 grandchildren. I don't argue no more. At all with nobody.
One thing go ahead, Joe. Yeah, go ahead. Uncle D probably stepped out for a minute. But one thing I'm thinking, man, is in regards to the exposure aspect of it, I think there's also something that's hidden to where now that black women have exposed themselves and other people can understand what we've been dealing with, I hate to admit it, there's this almost sort of relief where you kind of feel like we tried to tell you, we've been telling y'all what's been going on, and now that y'all done exposed it, now if we step away or we back aside or move out the way, there's almost a little bit more grace that the country gives you to say, I understand why. You know, when you see the Michelle Obama's now attending the inauguration, now that you see the Kamala Harris that don't have kids that are willing to let the Megan Thee Stallions and the Cardi B's, all of this stuff that's taking place, white America are looking at black men, and now they're looking at us like, we understand.
Yeah. I hear you. But we got to not make the same mistake that our forefathers made during the civil rights movement. The reason that was a failure is because we didn't get nothing out of it. They just wanted to have the right to go eat in white restaurants. And they never thought, I ain't got the money to go over there. So we got to stop caring what other people think about us more than what we care about what we think about ourselves.
But then he got a point though. Like a lot of white folk and everybody looking at like after they saw Fonnie Willis, they like and some of the other bands, they like we understand our brothers. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what's that gonna get you? Who cares?
Yeah, understanding goes a long way. Because understanding might be like, well, you know, I understand where you're coming from. Especially like, I'm just saying, look, I deal with judges and juries and people, and sometimes when they understand where you're coming from, they'll cut you a break. You get in an argument with your crazy baby mama, and it just looked like a man versus a woman, and then they realize, well, hold on, with the context that I've seen how this particular group of females operates, because it's all over social media, whether they have a PhD or no degrees, they like, I understand why this brother at this point probably had to defend himself. So understanding goes a long way. I'm just saying, let's not overlook it. We still, just something to think about. Go ahead, Tony, and then we're going to wrap this thing up.
I just don't want us to get distracted with that aspect of it, and we don't do what we supposed to do. Because this is valuable time. As you said, the second quarter and the third quarter of our lives is the most important. So we got to focus during those time periods to make sure we're building ourselves up. Because you got a lot of 50-year-old plus black men out here that's dropping dead.
Ain't that
and they have nothing to show for it. They can't retire. They're driving Ubers to eat every day because they wasted that second and third quarter.
Well, I'm gonna say this: it's the first quarter is the most important. You got to build, brother Tony. What are your thoughts? Go ahead and finish that thought, man. We're gonna try to roll it out here.
I'm not saying that as a crutch. I'm not saying that as an excuse. We've been dealing with this. We've been taking the punches in the criticism for it. So I'm not saying it is as let's wave the flag. But what I am saying is when you go into that courtroom now that the woke DEI, all of that in general, from the everybody, black men, women, everybody who's like, nah, that's some BS. Mm-hmm. Now that has finally come to pass, and it's only been like that the last 6 months that we finally got to this place.
Good point. Yeah.
Now that we're at this place, that makes a difference for the father that goes in there who wants to try to fight for his child because he wasn't getting that in 2020. It makes a difference when a brother has a woman calls the police on a brother and the police show up, and now he ain't gonna be so quick because he gonna see the Fannie Mae's and the such and such and the Kamalas and the ass shaking. So I'm not saying that to say, I'm saying that now America, not only America, but the entire world, because our women decided to do what they decided to do.
No, Filipino, no. Come on, man. Go ahead. My bad. My bad. Go ahead, brother. My bad.
But I'm just saying, I can feel it. I can feel that, that change, brother. So, I'm not saying it as, hey, this is a get out of jail free card from us not being accountable and taking care of our business. Yeah. But now I feel like in these different spaces and these different arenas, even from what I see on the Shade Room and different places that are black women dominated, you're seeing the pushback. Yeah. I don't know if this is what it took in order for something like this to happen, but as we're going back the other way, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's all negative, is what I'm pretty much saying.
I think what happened, Tony, is I think some black women look at that behavior and say, oh, hell no, I can't get behind that. That's just too much. I think some sisters are like, oh, we can't defend that. That's just too much. There's a lot of black women that are embarrassed at the fact that Kamala Harris got Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla. That's embarrassing. That's no class, no dignity. You the first woman to become a black woman to get this close to being a president of the United States, and you bring Megan Thee Stallion out there to represent black women. That's embarrassing.
You claim to be a black woman, and this is what you think of us.
Yeah, and I'm saying you out here cosplaying black women, and this is the best representative. You at the Howard University, AK, and it was sad. So I think that's what's happening. Even black women are like, nah. Black women with sense and dignity and grace, they like, nah, I can't go along with that. You know what I mean? And so now you got black women pushing back. You see it with the Crimson Cure and some of the other ladies. Now they might be a little bit ahead of their time, but hey, let me say this, brothers, you're gonna be all right. You've been through a lot worse. You've been through Jim Crow, prison industrial complex, the crack epidemic. You've been through. You're gonna be fine. Everybody else is gonna have to toughen up. This is gonna be light work for us. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying you won't say, damn, that's some rough times. But as far as what black men have to deal with and what we've had to deal with, first, the heat ain't directed toward us. We did what we were supposed to do in the election. Okay? It's going to be directed towards everybody else. Immigrants, women, minority hires, they're going to catch hell. We ain't going to college like that. We going to college, but we not going like that. We already here, so we don't have the immigrant problems. Most of us are not Muslim, so we're gonna be fine. We're going to be fine. Y'all just keep doing what you're doing and keep minding your business. But again, Black liberals, you mad at these rappers? Nobody cares. Let me just keep it 100. Don't nobody care what you think. You lost the war. You lost the fight. What you have to say at this point is irrelevant. For all you black folks still trying to shame black people into voting for the Democratic Party or running away from the Republican Party, it don't work because they don't care what you think anymore. Nothing you say matters to these brothers anymore. We don't care what our mama says, our grandmama says. We don't care about history. You can't throw Malcolm X up in our face and Martin Luther King. They don't care. They at this point, they pretty much islands on their own. Okay, and that's where the brothers are at this point, and y'all drove us to that point. Nevertheless, man, big shout out to my man Joshua. Shout out to Tony Brooks. Shout out to Devin Lockett. Shout out to Mr. B. Ben Israel. Thank you so much, everybody who came through, man. I appreciate y'all. It's good to be back. I'm going to keep this thing going. We'll be back tomorrow with another hot topic, man. We're going to talk about that child support issue. So y'all stay tuned. As I always say, this is Uncle D. I love you guys, and I am out.
Peace.
Dennis Burley Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.